Okay, I'm not covering any specific module, but instead I'm going to show off some of the maps I created to go with Veins of the Earth when we were doing a Veins campaign. Players never got to see the whole map, so this is their chance. There was a river. This was the first village they encountered in the Veins, and it was a big cavern that had a river that ran through part of it where they could catch fish. They could be turned into lights of decay. The village consisted of piles of rocks to indicate living areas. And in the center is the chief's pile of rocks, which is sort of a communal area and is lit by an ultraviolet butterfly lamp. And so I used some of the mushrooms around here. So that's the first map my players encountered. I think the others are in no particular order. Here's the non-men village. Non-men, I made them, they're one of the good races. So I made them sort of like halflings. And this is a side view map. So the bottom is down, the top is up, and left and right are east and west. So there's this hole going down into this big cavern. And so here are my players. And here's another cavern with some non-men in it. And another one. Yeah, so at the bottom of this cavern is a river. Big open air cavern here. But over on the other side, this here is a big open air rift cut through the rocks. And so I had to go down to the bottom of the rift and go back up. And it was like a diamond-shaped cavern that was the bottom of it, the very bottom of it, was a crack that just got thinner and thinner. So if you fell down it, you just get stuck. But there were steps that went down. Because it's a village, they had carved steps into the walls going down and then back up and back onto the path there. So that was the non-men I allowed as a player character race once they'd been here, and they were basically like halflings adapted for the Underdark. Okay, so here are some generic caves of different sizes in case I need a map. And then I have some passages of different widths. And some more generic caves here. Guess I need that. Okay, at one point they encountered some underground Amazons. I ran Veins of the Earth in Mazes and Minotaurs at one point, and I carried this over to my Lamentations game. So the Amazons are people who had reached 6th level, gotten high enough to make 7th level in Mazes and Minotaurs, and when you, instead of getting to 7th level, they were banished to the Underdark, along with the barbarians and centaurs and anybody who was hanging out with too many such barbarian characters. So the Amazons thought that they were in Tartarus. Yeah, so here's the little Amazon village here with some Amazons. And we got a Halfling Village. Yeah, so I ran Broodmother Sky Fortress and made the wretches be halflings who called themselves deviants, and even named the deviants after the deviants from Jack Kirby's Eternal series. So there's like Lord Toad and Carcass and Ransack the Reject and Crow. And so yeah, it's really small, thin caverns. And I made the, if you look here, you'll see that the width of the actual cavern as far as light goes is wider than the cavern on the map. And that, as I said earlier in another video, is so that they can fit their character in there, but it's to show how small the passage is. This is a series of caverns connected by really small passages that a human would consider letterbox squeezes. That they can't even crawl or slither, they have to tilt their shoulders to get through it. And yeah, so here's our players from that time. And I found one of the ways out. Another way is down here where there's a sump where you have to get in the water and wade through it. Or swim through it. And yeah, this here is a breakdown. It's just a pile of boulders. Move a character in there so you can see it's a pile of boulders you got to slither through. So that's another one of my maps. Have I got any more? Oh, here's a village. I'm not sure. I never did get to use this. We stopped doing Underdark before I could. Is there another one? Okay, yeah, same story. It's not populated, so I never got a chance to use that one. Okay. Oh, and while we're showing off, I'll show off my jail map, which I used when the players got themselves put in jail. So, thought you might find that interesting.